Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. Houston and other cities in Texas are beginning the long process of recovery after the devastating impact of Hurricane Harvey. And rescue teams are still looking for survivors, as many people are starting to rebuild their lives. Charlene Aaron has the story.
Many Texans are now looking to see what they can salvage after Harvey's rains have passed.
I'm speechless. I mean, it's just devastating.
In some places, more flooding as first responders launched a block-by-block, door-to-door search of badly flooded areas, pounding on doors and shouting as they looked for survivors who might have been left behind in Harvey's floodwaters. The Coast Guard hammering through a roof to free a family from their attic. A hard road is ahead for many in cities hit hard by Harvey, not only Houston, but others like Rockport, Beaumont, and Port Arthur. The loss of power at a flood-crippled chemical plant set off explosions and a fire, and the city of Beaumont near the Texas-Louisiana line lost its public water supply. More than 30,000 have been displaced, and officials are scrambling to find long-term solutions in a place where none seem to exist. Many have begun the process of cleaning up after the storm. Vice President Mike Pence lending a helping hand in Rockport, where Hurricane Harvey first hit. The White House says some 100,000 homes were damaged by Harvey, and the Trump administration is set to ask Congress for an initial round of emergency funding to help with relief efforts. In an exclusive interview with CBN News, the president said faith-based organizations have played a large role in helping those affected by Harvey. Faith-based organizations have been incredible, President Trump told CBN News, so I can just say I want to thank them very much. CBN's Operation Blessing has been on the ground in Texas and rode along with the Cajun Navy for the boat rescue of a 2-year-old and his family who had been trapped in their home by floodwaters.
We've been trying to get to him for 3 days.
OB workers had to drive through high waters to get to Beaumont in East Texas, where OB volunteers worked in a local church turned distribution center.
There's a need for food, drinks, personal hygiene items, so Operation Blessing semi-truck arrived. And even as I speak, there's hundreds of cars that are coming around picking up these donations. And so Operation Blessing will be here in the surrounding communities in the Central Texas area as well as in Rockport, coming alongside the local church and emergency officials, providing life-sustaining and life-saving resources to these areas.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has declared Sunday as a day of prayer for the state. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, it is heartbreaking to watch these people and to hear their angst as they just try to survive through this. Many of them still trying to find a place to stay, and it'll be long-term for lots of people, so there's still so much to be done there. You know, one of the wonderful things about Operation Blessing is when they heard this storm was coming, they were able to strategically position themselves and all that they're able to bring into the mess of all of this to help people. And so we just want to say thank you. So many of you have responded, but it's going to go on for a long time. We have a lot of people who have volunteered their time, who are capable and able to do that, who have shown up, but we are still going to need more and more of the kind of supplies that you just saw being given to those cars that are just coming by in the hundreds. So would you be a part of that? Would you stand with us and help us provide for these people who have lost everything? You can do that by giving a gift to Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund, and it's at our address here if you want to send it snail mail. That's CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463, or you can simply go to cbn.com and give that way. If you prefer to talk to someone on the phone and give your gift, it's 1-800-700-7000. Everything you give will be given to helping the people in that area that's been so hard hit by Hurricane Harvey. Well, despite the heavy floodwaters, many people in Texas are making their way back to their homes, to the mess that's left behind. And John Jessup has that story. John?
That's right, Terry. And one of the more important and impressive things we've seen from Harvey is people helping people. Our Eric Rosales takes us to one community to show how Texans have come together even after suffering their own personal losses.
The sun may be out and the rain has stopped, but the cleanup effort is just beginning. We are in League City, Texas, and you can see how high the water got on a lot of these homes, nearly to the roof line, if not more.
The dining room right here, and we had to take all the wood floor up in here
4 feet of water came flowing into the home of the LeCaves, but they still say God is good as their family all made it through.
It is. It's hard, but we have all our family members came over and helped, so we're fine. We're fine. God protected us.
He's blessed us, and here we are to talk about it. 51.5 years of marriage, so we're blessed.
This is one of the things that we're seeing. Family after family are just trying to go through their items. One of the items that they are trying to salvage are pictures.
All of the neighborhood right here is just rallied together, and we're happy.
Mandy Currier couldn't be more proud of her husband. He used his fishing boat to save lives, including Danielle Simpson.
You see these stories of people getting caught up in the waters and dying, and we're alive and we're here, and that's God.
My photographer Mario Gonzalez and I nearly got caught in those waters as we tried to make it into flooded Beaumont.
Oh Lord, please help us. Get us through this. Get us through this, Lord. Please, 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 please.
The roads in and out of the city look like this. Water flowed near the hood of our SUV, but we eventually made it across. We decided to continue our fight another day and give it 24 hours for the flood waters to recede. We want to thank the good folks over at First Baptist Church in Hampshire, Texas, for putting us up for the night and feeding us.
All these people do is give back. A lot of these people have lost their homes, their houses are underwater.
You said 90% of them that are working in the kitchen right now.
90% of the people in the kitchen.
Definitely serve a loving God and a giving God. And this community here is an awesome community. You know, people talk about, oh, I'm going to move from here. I don't care where you go, you're not going to find it.
This community has pulled together so much that everybody helps one another. We were on an island. Nobody could get in and nobody could get out. And God provided so much food, so much water. It was truly amazing.
Jeff Burdick sells insurance in the area. He says with Hampshire only 18 miles from the Gulf, most homeowners have wind damage insurance, but less than 20% carry flood insurance. But together, this Texas community says they will do like Jesus and serve one another. The lights may be out here in the sanctuary, but the spirit of Jesus is shining bright. From Hampshire, Texas, Eric Rosales, CBN News.
Great to see those powerful stories of survival. Thanks, Eric. Well, turning overseas, next year will mark the 70th anniversary of the birth of the nation of Israel. But what few know is a key event in Switzerland more than 100 years ago was instrumental in the creation of the Jewish state. John Wagi brings us that story.
In 1897, Jewish leaders from around the world gathered in Basel, Switzerland to discuss the idea of a Jewish state.
They were trying to combine the practical with the ideal. The ideal was to establish a Jewish state, but there were already practical steps on the ground.
Historian Michael Widlansky says Jewish pioneers were already here, trying to farm the barren land.
Theodor Herzl said, we need a state, and he predicted that in 50 years from 1897, there would be a Jewish state, and sure enough, there was.
Herzl died in 1904 and didn't live to see his dream fulfilled. But in 1949, the father of modern Zionism was reburied here in this Jerusalem cemetery that was named for him. His grave lies next to some of Israel's greatest military leaders and statesmen. Herzl, a Viennese journalist, initially believed the Jewish people should assimilate into the Christian world to be accepted. That changed after he witnessed rampant anti-Semitism in France. Herzl then wrote about the idea of a Jewish state. On August 29, 1897, he opened the first Zionist Congress, declaring they were laying the foundation stone of the house that would shelter the Jewish people.
The Congress wanted to set up an idea, a program. They called it the Basel Program. It was a very starry-eyed program, but with its feet on the ground.
According to Widlansky, the initial goal was the organization of various Jewish groups worldwide.
They wanted to get them together on the same page, organize financing, organize transport, continuing organization for bringing people from many, many countries, different languages, into this faraway country that was mostly desert. And again, they succeeded.
He said the name Zion pointed to the importance God himself put on this place.
It comes from the Hebrew term Tzion. Zion literally means the place that God made his mark. He signified it. God says, and I will take you to the place that I will designate, that I will have marked, which I will have chosen. That is Zion. That is God's place on earth, where he chooses to be recognized. Of course, he's everywhere. But he wants you to know that he's got his feet, as it were, on the ground in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount.
And in just 50 years, despite Russian persecution, 2 world wars, and the Holocaust, Israel was reborn. John Waggy, CBN News, Jerusalem.
A fascinating history. Thanks, John. Terry, we'll send it back to you.
It is a fascinating history, and we'd love for you to be able to know more about it. You know, you can watch one story like that, but to own it, we'd like you to be able to actually have that information and enjoy watching it yourself. You can own a copy of CBN's exclusive documentary. It's called The Hope, The Rebirth of Israel. It's yours for a gift of $9.99. This incredible docudrama will take you on an inspiring journey through that 50 years that John talked about that preceded the founding of the modern state of Israel, including the first Zionist Congress. If you'd like to have a copy of this, all you have to do is call right now to order your DVD. $9.99. It'll be available while supplies last, and you call our toll-free number. That's 1-800-700-7000, or you can log on to cbn.com and get a hold of your copy that way. The Hope, the Rebirth of Israel. Quite a miraculous story.